Do you not know in my bio that literally the first line says, because somebody called it to me once, and I'm like, I'm taking that and running. It says Tamara Andress is a human sparkler.
Let's go. Why
Because I'm
wouldn't you be?
ready. I know I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm like, everyone needs light. And it's one of those things that once you find it, like really find it, it's hard for the enemy to blow out. And simultaneous to that, while he might think it's easy, when I meet people like yourself and I meet that core group that can literally protect, right? They can protect from every angle. And I know Jim Rohn says, like, you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And I believe there's a lot of truth to that. But I definitely think that there are people in my life that might not know every single thing going on in my life. I might not ever see you or talk to you for another 6 months, but I know if I was to call you, you would protect someone or something that's trying to burn that light out, because we know that there is a force against us just as much as God is here for us and fighting with us, and his angel army is always stronger. We have to be okay with the fact that there's going to be hard times, and we're going to come into situations that make us feel weak. So I'm grateful already that I feel like I have you in that army. I like that nurturing of, like, it's not going out, sister.
Ever. And I'll be that for you, your husband, your kids, and everything. And I know you'll be that for myself and my wife also. So thank you.
Absolutely. So talk to us. Do you want to share about True Seven in the CBD realm? Because I think that it's important for people, and I want to break the mindset, because I can only tell the religious that are now like, what? What, she just went way right.
Let's go. I love that.
This is important for me and for you who are listening to know that just like I was ostracized when I was hosting my first women's retreat because I was having yoga there, and they're like, yoga is of the devil. This is not a conversation of the devil. Okay. First off, let's formidably put that here. We've already just talked about being the light and being connected to truth and wholeness. I want to talk about how CBD is an asset and a resource, and God made, not man made.
Yeah. And I don't get into the, some people try to justify it by saying it's natural and from the earth and all that. And,
Oh, yeah.
And that's cool. I've been so CBD is literally a restricted industry. It's not federally legalized yet, but I've been in 2 fringe type industries. And so I was in the wine and spirits industry for 17 years. I still do consulting in that space. And for some of that time, I actually struggled with being in that industry, understanding the impact that it has on people and the negative impact that it could have. But once I accepted my right role in that industry, which was to bring light to that industry, I was able to flourish. And I made sure that I brought that light wherever I went. So I was comfortable with doing that. It was a legal, honest living, and I was good with it. So when I transitioned, my mom was happy. My pops, he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
But we want what sounds good and what's comfortable.
Right.
We don't always want the truth. We want the happy ending. We don't want to go through what it takes. We don't want to go to and everybody has the north side. We don't want to go to the north side and pull those people out. We want to go to the good part of the city, right, where it doesn't take a whole lot, and we want to save people at church.
So true.
So I knew when I was brought CBD, I knew what part of it was. It was part of it was to be a light in this industry because I had experienced it in another industry. But there had to be some knowledge behind it. I couldn't just be, a flag toter. So there were truly 2 stories that I heard when I went to a conference that impacted me. And I knew this was the type of industry I was going to be a part of because of the impact that it had on people. I heard a story about a lady whose her daughter was having over 100 seizures a day. CBD was legal in Canada. She was risking her freedom to go across country borders to get CBD for her daughter, bring it across state lines, give it to her daughter. Her seizures were reduced from like 100 a day to 1 a day.
Wow.
That story impacted me. There was another guy, a military veteran. He was over fighting some war, and it was himself and a friend of his. A little girl, like a little 8 or 9 year old girl, got hit by some friendly fire. And so he had to go over, close the girl's eyes, and pull her out of the way. And his partner was just torn to pieces. And he had to shake him and say, hey, man, you got to get it together. We are literally in a war zone, and I can't lose you out here. Fast forward 7 to 8 years, and the story is crazy. But fast forward 7 to 8 years, he's at the dentist office with his daughter. And, he had been suffering from a little PTSD and all of that. The dentist laid his daughter on the table in the same manner that girl was there. And it just tore him to pieces. And CBD was the only thing that could calm his brain, because he started having nightmares and all kinds of stuff. And after I heard that story, I was like, I have to be in this industry to help change and impact people's lives for the better. And so in addition to that, it aids in recovery. It helps with sleep. It helps with other things. But listen, I will leave the 99 to find one. If I only help one person, it's worth it to me. But after hearing those stories about how it's impacted people, listen, one thing I don't do is serve people. And if God wants me somewhere else, I'm gone.
Yeah.
When he wanted me to leave that job, I was gone. I don't want to be anywhere one day more than he wants me to be there. So I know I'm here to serve him and do his will.
So good. And this is like the thing that I hear so often, in no matter what position you're in, no matter what way, when you're stepping on purpose, you might step on purpose into a space or a room or a relationship that you are so confused by that you're like, why here? Why now? Why do I have to be this person's light? Right? Like, I want to be that person's light. I want to get closer to that flame that's already burning so bright. And it causes you to be uncomfortable. It causes you to question your faith. It causes you to get closer to God, which is ultimately what he's looking for anyway, is that relationship that he's speaking about at the beginning. And so I just want people to know that there are so many levels to CBD. I only know a little bit about it, but I know that they make stuff for pets. I know that they make stuff that children can have. I know that the sleep element is huge. I know that it can help your joints. Like, there's just so much about it. That is still such a new industry, especially here in Virginia, that people are just now getting exposed to, and the industry is just going to continue to expand. And so you're literally on the forefront, like in the first territory lines of getting into that industry and finding out how it can be of service to people with PTSD, traumas, sexual traumas. I mean, I could think of so many that it would help in the church. And so and outside, obviously, but there's this knowing that if the church could open their eyes and the scales could truly be removed, that there is access that God is literally giving us, and sometimes out of a place that looks really dirty and grimy, because we know that there's the essence of marijuana that everybody says is a gateway drug and all that. I mean, I've got tons of friends who I've literally lost because of overdose. And so I've never even smoked a cigarette, but that doesn't mean I've tried CBD. And I don't even put them in the same category because I see the health benefits, right? And so I just encourage people, if they're listening and they're curious and they're in need of something that helps them in any of these things that we've spoken to. And there's obviously a bajillion more I don't know about, like seizures and cancers. I know people have used it for. And so I just encourage you to stop rejecting and start getting curious, because that's the same reason why there are so many atheists and people who have not chosen to be with the Lord. And it's just because they've rejected and they've never been curious. And a learner is the one who is growing, not those who are stagnant.